talk about the VOD and the silver screen. Kevin and Tom and Joe know all there is to know, from masterpieces to deep fried tacos. And if the movie sucks, you might hear them say, there's no telling where the guys will take you. Get ready for a spoiler. Won't say it twice, cause we already warned you. Better watch out, it's gonna ruin the plot. Real spoilers. Real spoilers. Real spoilers.
Broadcasting from the lush but not lavish studios located in the basement of the O'Keefe Institute for Advanced Film Snarkitude, this is Real Spoilers, episode 731, Cocaine Bear.
I was like, how are you going to fix this one? I don't
It's about those polar bears at Christmas time. They're
Yeah,
always
right.
drinking
The Coke Bears.
Yes,
Yeah.
Coke Bears.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Yeah, they'll probably get sued now.
Oh, no.
So I guess let's go around the table and everyone can introduce themselves.
This is Joe.
This is Kevin.
And this is Tom. Before we dig in, shameless plugs. Don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find a podcast, you can find us. While you're there, be sure and follow us. You never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review. That's always nice. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Real Spoilers. While you're there, like the page, join the group. The group is called the League of Show Sharers because we're hoping you will share an episode. It's the easiest, cheapest thing you could do to help us out. People who were kind enough to share an episode last week include Tammy Lynn Powers, Betts, Librarian, Cynthia, Chris Sanders, Gabriel Lugo, Chris Magic Man, Julianne Jordan, Chris Valls, Travis Tewitt, Christopher Rex, David Rojas, Heather Sachs, Dissect That Film, Edit Photo Gamer, Colby Mack, Invasion of the Remake, Feelin' Film, Ryan Terry from the Forza Crowd podcast, Mike and Oscar, Spoiler Piece Theater, In Session Film, Binge Movies, Nostalgia Cast, Ronnie Castle, Geek to Me Radio, and Matt Naglia. So thank you very much for doing all that.
Yes.
So, finally, don't forget we have a Patreon, patreon.com/Real Spoilers, where for $5 a month you get all sorts of bonus content, and you help us out, and we like you extra.
That's right. And we got one more ready to go that Matt and I still need to record for Christmas in, where are we at? March?
Well, March by the time it comes out, I would think, yeah. So.
Yeah. Next up is Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah.
And then following that will be Violent Night.
Yeah.
And then what's the end of the holiday?
Black Christmas.
And Black Christmas. Yeah. So just in time for Christmas.
That's right. That's right. Just in time for St. Patrick's Day.
Isn't there a St. Patrick's Day?
Leprechaun.
Yeah, that's true. I thought there was another one. Maybe, I don't know.
No, just Leprechaun.
Okay. Just Leprechaun.
April Fool's Day.
Leprechaun owns March.
Yeah, that's right.
March
Yeah,
horrors.
there's a lot of them.
Well, hey, Scream comes out.
That's true. That's
March
true.
10th
I think
this year.
I have to think. I think I did those already. I think I did those by myself on the Patreon.
All the Scream movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you had guests on, right?
I did.
One
I did.
wrote a book, right?
No, that was the Halloween stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But you had on...
Justin McNeil.
Did the Halloween stuff?
Yes, yes.
And then who did you have on? You had didn't you have a comedian on for the Scream stuff? Or did you just do it solo?
I had Matt McCarthy on,
What was
but
it?
he was just on to be on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I did do a Matt with him as well.
Yeah, there's all sorts
There
of
is.
stuff
I
on
will
the
say though,
Patreon.
there is an episode somewhere in that Patreon. I interviewed the guys from Radio Silence, the guys that directed the last one, and I think are doing this one.
They are?
Yeah. So there's an episode.
They're
in
the guys
there.
now. Yeah,
They are the guys.
Joe went out and got an interview with all of them. He just did it, and he's like, "Hey, I
You
got
need to start booking guests for the clip out.
Yeah. All of a sudden, Joe showed
I was
up
like, we can't get decent guests for the clip out sometimes, like big name guests.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it's like, and you're sitting here getting people for a Patreon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Like, that's-
It was honestly
He just strolled in one day and he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I got a interview with all those Ready or Not guys."
I got them off of Ready or Not.
Yeah.
And then I think right before we released the interview, like they got announced as the guys for Scream, and I was like, well,
perfect
that's perfect.
Joe needs to go Moneyball all of it. Just go to all the up and coming directors that are going to get Marvel movies.
Hey, can I talk to Joe Johnson real quick?
Well, that's reverse Moneyball.
I guess that's
I don't
true.
think that. Yeah.
Jeff Loveless? Loveness?
I don't know. He's kind of taken off already.
good for
Get
that
in
guy.
there quick.
Yeah, right.
Also, we should remind people you can watch all these on YouTube now.
Yeah.
So you should go check that out. We still don't have a vanity URL, though, do we?
I think we do, but it just works half the time. I don't really know how. I'm not huge about YouTube, but we're almost at 200 subscribers. So maybe if you're listening to this, if you can go check it out and get us over the 200 mark, that'd be great.
Sweet.
So anyway, there's all that. Let's dig in.
Hey, man. This is right up my alley. When they announced this, I was like, and and I saw the first trailer. I was like, oh yeah, I know what this is. So if you're a kid of like the 80s, you know that there was this run of like apex predator horror movies post Jaws.
Oh, don't remind me. All I could think of was that movie Crawl when they go apex predator.
Oh yeah, man, people love that.
I know.
movie.
I
don't get it.
I know Quentin Tarantino loves it, and I'm just like, it was such a missed opportunity to me.
Yeah. But that's a prime example of like the animal
Yeah,
horror,
this
right?
lives in that same
Jaws.
category.
There was a movie actually called Crocodile.
Yeah.
Piranha?
There's Piranha.
Oh,
no,
sorry.
no. Grizzly. There was a Grizzly.
I've heard of that one. Yeah.
I've seen this kind of. It's weird. I've seen
Night
this,
of the Lepus.
That's also
That's about the rabbits that
about
attack
the
everyone.
rabbits,
That's pre-Jaws, but
ants
but
or
God-
them, I guess.
but
Not
God,
ants.
it's great.
Yeah, eight-legged freaks, all that stuff.
Yeah, is that the one with our buddy from Scream? What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
David Arquette.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what people wanted from
Did you
this.
see there's a movie coming out about a giant spider?
No.
Spider-Man.
No, that's Man Spider. No, there's a movie coming out about a girl like adopts a spider as a pet, but it just keeps growing and growing and growing.
That sounds like my worst nightmare.
And then it turns into a huge spider that is killing people, like a super rated R horror movie.
On the success of Cocaine Bear, they've changed the title to Viagra Spider.
But at only 4 hours at a time.
Right.
well, that's all you need, you know.
But if it's longer,
than
you're in
that,
trouble. Run.
Consult your doctor.
Yeah.
They're going to put a needle in your...
You're going to lance your
Oh,
penis.
God.
Oh.
That sounds awful. But, like, I just don't know what people expected from this movie.
I thought it would be a little crazier.
I did, too. I
Like
don't
that-
disagree.
Like that's, I also wished, and overall it's fine.
Yeah,
Like
it's fun.
I wish it had been filmed more in the style of an 80s movie.
Thank you. That's my number one.
It was a little too clean.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, with the movie X, they set it in the time period, and you feel like you're living in that time period.
Yeah, because Ty West puts a filter on it,
Right.
on that digital stuff that gives it that 70s grindhouse.
Or he films with real film, or some people film with real film,
that
or
could be.
whatever.
That could be.
So the problem
Man,
is,
not
this,
with that budget, they didn't.
That's
this-
a filter.
but this movie takes place in the 80s, and
Right.
it's too clean.
It doesn't look like the 80s, and there's some anachronistic dialogue.
There was. I
Like
thought that
when
as well.
they say "popo" for police.
Yeah, I was like, that's not a thing.
That's not the 80s. When they're fighting in front of the gazebo, and the one guy starts saying "tap out, tap out," I'm like,
There was no tap out.
this predates UFC,
Right.
Big time.
like by years.
Yes.
At this point, it's still just called barroom boxing, and they're doing exposés on 2020.
Yeah, right.
With John Stossel.
Oh.
It's
Who
hard.
also got... Did you ever see that wrestler interview with him?
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Got sued and got paid. Did you ever see that?
No, I
Oh,
haven't.
John Stossel was doing a thing about professional wrestling for
Yeah.
2020, and he's like, "Is it fake?" He's asking a wrestler this as the wrestler's getting ready to go on stage or just coming off stage, and he's like,
Dave Schultz is
"Yeah,"
that
and
wrestler.
the wrestler's like, "Fake? Is this fake?" And then he like clocks him in the side of the head, and he did it twice.
He
didn't
open hand slaps him once, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Does that feel fake?" And Stossel's like, you could see him like, "What's happening?"
Yeah.
And he winds up and cracks him again.
Yeah.
he's like, "Is that
Holy.
fake?"
And he got a concussion, and like
He-
it was bad. Like
Oh
it,
my gosh.
Dave Schultz was fired not long after that.
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
WWF. But yeah, he like.
So-
I think he got some money out of that too.
I can't imagine he didn't.
Right.
So it's really hard especially when you've lived in that era and grew up watching movies from that era.
Sure.
As you get to that and you make a movie that's really clean and polished, and then on the flip side, they're playing it so straight in this movie for most of it, which is, I agree, they should be crazier. But the movie isn't good enough. It looks too good, but the script isn't good enough for them to be playing it straight and
see-
for it to be is bad. Like, it should look bad and be crazy, or if it's going to be clean, I think that they need to have better dialogue to kind of
I thought
elevate it.
I thought they were playing it that way as like an homage to those movies, right? Because those movies, everybody plays it straight. Everybody, like in
Yeah.
Grizzly, everybody takes that. It's obviously not Shakespeare, but like everybody's treating it like it's
It's like they're making a drama,
Like they're making a-
serious drama
Correct.
/ action movie,
which is what I thought they were going for.
But it's
here.
just like, there's
then
some kind of tonal mismatch.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
like I feel like not some of them are and some of them aren't.
The goofy teenagers.
Yeah.
They're playing it so goofy, right?
Yeah, or Jesse Tyler Ferguson.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like he
For sure.
he felt like he was from a different movie.
very much so.
Yeah.
And so it's really weird that you have like some people playing it straight, some people playing it ridiculous, and it looks too slick and polished for a B movie of the 80s. And
Yeah.
so there was just something, it's like the uncanny valley. You know, there was just something where the movie never really clicked into it tonally to where I could just sit back and relax and be like, oh, because, I mean, there was goofy, fun stuff. I also didn't think the kills were that good. Like I wasn't.
I wish that they had ramped those up a little bit.
Because this is rated R, right? There's lots of cursing. There is
Lots of blood. I can't imagine it's. I don't know how it wouldn't be rated R.
But there's like lots of blood from like the guys hanging upside down from a tree off camera, and you see blood flow down. Like, show us the intestines. You get a couple of scenes. There's like 2 scenes.
The
and one of them's
ambulance
in the
scene.
dark. Yeah,
that ambulance scene is
The
fantastic.
ambulance scene is really good.
Yeah.
That's probably the best scene in the movie.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
for sure.
And so I was expecting more. Like you said, I thought this is gonna be crazy. You know, they play it up like this is gonna be some insane movie. It's called Cocaine Bear. Like we're going nuts with it. And I don't know, it seemed a little tame.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I do think that they should have. I would have liked if they ramped everything up.
The first 30 minutes are pretty dry.
Oh, yeah.
And I was also like, why aren't you introducing us to a bunch of people we don't care about so the bear can kill them?
Yeah.
Exactly right,
Like,
yes.
like most of the people in the movie you're supposed to like, even the drug dealers.
Too many main characters.
Yeah.
And people that
Too
have
many
names.
name characters,
That's what I'm
like
saying.
name
People that have
actors.
names and
Yeah.
backstories. Like, yeah, we need the fodder. We need the red shirts for the cocaine bear.
I need a bunch of drug dealers who work under the 2 guys to just be with them and just get slaughtered in the woods.
I almost wanted to take out my stopwatch and be like, when are we going to stop introducing characters like with backstories? I'm like, this is a lot to juggle.
Yeah. So the movie is, I mean, we open with 2, I guess, Swedish, I don't know, nondescript Europeans hiking through the woods. And of course we've got them hiking through the woods, and a lot of, I guess we're supposed to care about them.
Not the opening, right? The opening is the guy on the plane.
I think it's both. I think it's interchanging.
Are they toggling back and forth?
I thought so.
Okay.
No, I think they show the plane first.
Is that what it is?
They show the guy in the plane because you're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Because they're
Tossing.
playing Jane by Jefferson Starship and
Tossing cocaine out the
tossing
plane.
cocaine.
And this
out
is
the
the
plane.
true story. This part is the true story part.
Yes.
This guy actually was smuggling drugs. He was in a plane flying low. They would have this operation where they would drop him out of the plane and people would go pick him up. And this guy jumps. I mean, I don't think he knocks his head.
He thought he was
but-
being trailed by the FBI or something, and so he's in his planes, and so he like ditches the
Starts
plane and
unloading.
jumps out, and then
his chute doesn't open. Or something.
yeah, and
then
he lands in somebody's driveway with like $15 million in cocaine strapped to him, and then like 4 months later, they find a dead bear who has like 3 grams of cocaine in his system.
Yeah.
That's the extent of the true story.
And I can
and which,
appreciate
like,
that.
That's a great idea, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what did that bear do on its cocaine binge? Like, I think the premise is hilarious.
yeah,
It's also
I'm picturing like a grizzly bear rum Springer.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it'd be all it's just whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. There is something kind of all those movies that we listed are not good movies, with the exception of Jaws, right? Like which is the originator of the not. I guess not. 'cause-
Cocaine shark.
well, meth crocodiles on the way,
Right.
Yeah.
So have no fear. But I guess them or things like that are kind of the originator.
Cocaine moose jaws.
Don't give them any more ideas.
Cocaine moose knuckle.
Hey now, that's a different movie.
But weed moose jaws. I mean,
Yeah, right. That's way better.
mean-
right, yeah. At least cocaine, there'd be some energy to it. They're not good. And I just feel like this one, people are just kind of ragging on it, and it's like, what did you want?
But-
Yeah, what would have, and, but I also,
but it's not bad enough to be good either.
Yeah, I
right?
don't disagree. Like overall, it's a fairly mediocre
Yeah.
movie with a couple interesting spots, right? But people did the exact same thing with Snakes on a Plane.
Oh,
Like,
sure.
I remember the life cycle of that movie, that it gets released, and then people are like, oh, and then it goes viral, essentially, of people
Yeah.
saying that, like, Samuel L. Jackson needs to say, I'm sick of these motherfucking snakes on this mother. And then they re-edited the movie so he could say it because people wanted it so badly.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
And then when it came out, people were like, well, it's okay. It's like, because, yeah, like it's
That's not
novelty.
I will say, I wish
it's
that,
like Christmas when you're 12.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Christmas when you're 10 was amazing. And then Christmas when you're 11 and you're 12, you're like, man, it wasn't as good as Christmas when I was 10.
yeah.
You
Can
know?
I stop buying me clothes.
Yeah.
I'll buy my own
I'm
clothes.
starting to get socks and underwear now. And,
I'm kind of bummed that the guy from The Wire didn't say you're like,
I know. I thought for
"Come
sure they were going to have him
on." Somewhere. He's
drop
got to
one
say
in.
it somewhere.
Yeah.
I feel like Isaiah Whitlock Jr. kind of elevated this movie. Like having him in it, I think was a good. I mean, his material was not great that they gave him, but just having him in it, I'm like, okay.
I like that he's kind of like the detective on this last week.
Ray Liotta in his last film.
Well, apparently he died during the making of this, and there was supposed to be more of him in this.
Okay,
and they had to like
I see.
finagle.
I figured they just filmed like, hey, we got Ray Liotta for 3 days. Like,
no,
I didn't know he was supposed to.
I think he passed away while they were filming this.
Good thing they didn't shoot it in chronological order.
No
right.
joke.
I mean, they got the big scene.
They got the stuff that they needed. They got.
Yeah. I mean, and I think he elevates the movie. I think by putting a couple of big named actors in there, you know, they're reliable actors. Not that O'Shea Jackson Jr. wasn't good, and Han Solo was fine. You know,
That's who that.
yeah, it's
Okay.
Alden Ehrenreich or whatever.
Elric.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in forever.
Yeah, he's like, you
Kinda
know what? I'm
disappeared.
going to take off from that after that Han Solo
I like
fiasco.
him. I think he's good in the stuff he's done, but it's funny. I couldn't tell who that was at first. I'm like, he kind of looks.
I know,
Like,
I
kind of
was-
looks like Bucky. I'm like, who is that?
I was struggling first too. I'm like, where do I know this guy from?
It's like, oh, it's Han Solo.
Han Solo. Yeah, so the guy.
I guess
you know,
they must have liked him, right? Because this is produced by Lord and Miller.
I was going to say I have a feeling that's how Elizabeth Banks gets this movie, right? Like she's the voice of in Lego Movie.
True.
So, but I did see that Lord and Miller. I was like, oh, well, this could be double interesting if Lord and Miller are doing this. Okay.
This is a Lord and Miller produced, though,
Yes.
which is the difference. See, because I think because like 21 Jump Street's brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, look at all the Lord and Miller movies. Name a bad Lord and Miller movie like that they directed.
Yeah.
The movies
I
are
mean-
great. The Lego movies, the Jump Street movies, the
Han
Mitchell's
Solo
versus.
movie, oh wait,
I still would love to see that.
yeah,
movie.
Mitchell's versus Machines,
Mitchell's
which
versus
I
Machines.
just rewatched and is still.
I mean, they're great, and they do produce generally really good
Did
stuff.
they do Spider-Man, Spider-Verse?
They produced it.
Okay, yeah. But no, I agree with you. And I once you see their names, I was like, okay,
Oh, the movie I want to see is the dog movie they show a trailer for before this.
Strays.
That's the movie.
Oh, it's so sad that they couldn't just officially make that a Benji movie. Like, because when it first started, because with
Oh,
the
like
dog,
adult Benji?
like with the dog, I was like, is this supposed to be a Benji movie? Because
Right,
it's
right.
like it's not quite what Benji looks like, but it's
close.
pretty close.
That's
it's pretty
hilarious.
close.
And I was like, oh my god, that would be great if they let this be a Benji movie.
if Benji fell into like the public domain and they
Or
could do
just
whatever
the
they wanted.
owners, you know, I don't know what the Joe Camp, the guy who owned Benji, I don't know where Benji.
I was like, nobody's really
exists.
clamoring
It's
for a
probably
Benji
owned by
movie.
As an IP.
Nabisco or something. You know,
Well,
someone
those
probably
were- those
sucked
were-
up that IP.
Those were
and-
Disney movies, weren't they?
No.
Those Benji movies weren't
No,
Disney.
that's
No.
that's like the Beyond, Homeward Bound. Like,
Oh,
Those
really?
are the dog movies by Disney.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I always picture like.
Where the red fern grows. Is that?
Oh God.
I don't think that was a Disney movie.
Oh, that's not a Disney movie.
I don't think so.
I just
some
picture.
reason I thought that
I
one was
picture
never.
that box as like
Yeah.
a Disney box,
right
but
with
I
like
guess not.
the
It
color on
looked-
the outside of the.
It had the look. Like they were certainly trying to do the imagery of those live action family friendly Disney
Yes.
movies.
I
Like
think- yeah.
you know, there were a bunch of movies at that time that looked like they should be Disney movies.
Flipper
Okay.
but
looks like
weren't.
it. You know,
Like
yeah.
Flipper,
Yeah.
Chomps. Do you remember Chomps?
No, wait, Flipper wasn't a Disney movie.
No.
No, but it was
Oh.
released in that time. Of
Here's
the,
how
like-
you know that something wasn't a Disney movie, right? If Flipper was a Disney movie,
Yeah.
we would still be getting Flipper
That's
movies.
you know what you're totally right.
There'd
Yes.
be a Flipper
Yeah.
show on
Right.
Disney Plus.
Paul Hogan.
There'd be a Flipper ride at Disney World.
and the,
like,
Paul Hogan in the newer one, right?
yeah.
Paul Hogan was
in the '90s movie. Or
Yes,
whatever, yeah.
yes.
But yeah, I'm just looking. So they made a Benji movie in 2018.
Oh,
Okay.
we did not cover that one.
No, we sure didn't.
I'm trying to remember. I feel like
But I could not. I was in the theater, you know, and the trailers are playing.
Sure.
And I see these dogs, and they start talking. I could not turn away. Like I was there.
It looks
and
pretty-
it's Will Ferrell and Jamie Foxx
And Will Arnett. No,
Will Arnett's Forte is
Will
a
Forte.
human in it, yeah. And the premise of that, if you guys have not seen the trailer, and sorry, spoilers for this trailer, because I know, I mean, I get it. If you don't want to be spoiled, here's 30 seconds. The premise of this movie is Will Forte has this dog, and he keeps trying to abandon it. Voiced by Will Ferrell, he keeps coming home, and then he drops him off, I don't know, too far away or something. I didn't quite.
Basically in the city.
Yeah, and then this dog meets up with other dogs, and their goal is to get back to Will Forte and bite his dog off.
because he left him there.
Like the whole time, that's like the whole goal of this movie is they're all teaming up. They're like, we're gonna bite his
The best thing about that trailer is like we play this game called Fetch and
yeah,
Fetch and
Yeah. I fetch it, I bring it back, and he says, but anyway, that is the silly, like, I feel like that is more the humor. Like, this movie didn't go hard enough like that. Like, that movie's going to be just hard R, ridiculous, fun, lots of laughs. Where this movie, I feel like, again, it like takes it too seriously, but not too seriously in a B movie bad way.
Right.
It's like it was too good, right? It was too good, but not good enough to be obviously a good serious
It's not
movie.
good enough to be good. It's not bad enough to be fun.
To be good.
It is-
I have to back up a second and call Joe out on the Benji stuff.
Oh.
Whoa.
So the Benji 2018 movie,
Yeah.
I'm really surprised this isn't on your radar.
Oh,
You were
no,
huge-
Who was
There's a
it?
wrestler
Triple
in
H?
it.
Who was it?
It's a Blumhouse movie.
Oh, weird.
Oh, that's the one that when we looked up Blumhouse and all he's done, we're like, you did a Benji? Like, we noticed that a year ago.
That's
or
so
something.
strange.
And it went straight to Netflix apparently. But
But they also did like that Gem and the Holograms
Yeah, and Whiplash.
and Whiplash.
right.
So it's like he does have those
Yeah.
outliers. That are like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
About Benji, that's funny. I mean,
But so Benji. So I don't know if that means Blumhouse currently has the rights to Benji.
well, if
Like,
he
Oh,
does,
man,
you'd
he's
think
gonna-
it'd be a lot different movie.
He's going to show up in Halloween. Benji versus Michael Myers.
yeah, he's gonna bite Michael Myers.
right? There you go. Oh my gosh. Okay, a movie about Michael Myers, what he does when he like hangs up the jumpsuit.
No. This is the dog that he didn't eat. Like Benji's
ate
the
a
dog.
dog?
Oh, yeah, he eats a dog. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. At least in the first one.
But no, Michael Myers comes home and he's got a whole side thing on. He takes off the jumpsuit, he hangs it up, goes to sit by the fireplace, puts on his robe.
Was it like that
He
Looney
has his-
Tunes? Like, hey Bob, hey Larry.
Yeah,
You know, like,
exactly.
checking it out.
He pets his little dog. I want the story of Michael Myers and his faithful dog.
Still voiced by Will Ferrell, talking about. He's like,
Sure, yeah.
that's pretty great. That's awesome.
And Ryan Reynolds is Michael Myers, the voice.
Wow. But he doesn't talk.
Well, he doesn't. No,
No, he wouldn't. No, yeah, he doesn't talk. He would treat him like
That's what they do in the Looney Tunes. They don't talk when they're fighting and stuff, right? And then they clock out and they talk.
I guess that's true. Yeah. All right, we'll see you tomorrow, Larry.
Because I thought they were. Did you guys watch Spirited, the musical Christmas movie with Ryan
Oh,
Reynolds?
yeah,
and
yeah,
Will-
I did.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I thought those two were
It's
great.
a little
together.
long, but
Yeah, I
Was
thought
it a Christmas Carol? Was that kind of the?
It was kind of like
low-key,
Scrooge.
yes, it
I
was
mean,
okay.
I know Scrooge is a riff
Yeah.
on Christmas Carol,
Sure,
but
sure.
It is that type of.
it's definitely a riff on Scrooge.
And,
They even kind of do an homage to that because his brother-in-law, they do him to look just like Bobcat Goldthwait from Scrooge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
So, but if you didn't see Spirited, I know. I mean, if you're listening to the Patreon, you want to put on a good Christmas movie. It's on Apple TV. I
It's
thought it
just
was-
around the corner.
Just around the corner.
thought it was really
Yeah,
funny.
it's
But
right
those
around
two
the
together, I'm like, this is a great dynamic. Those. I
Oh,
like
interesting.
them, yeah.
I wonder if they pop back up together.
I feel like they might because it was so good.
So the guy throws all the cocaine out, and of course he's going to go jump, and he hits his head, and he falls out, and doesn't get his chute open, and here we are. But so now we've got O'Shea Jackson Jr. and Han Solo and Ray Liotta, who are all kind of also. Movie takes place in St. Louis. Just gonna put that out there.
first-
There's
so
there's a
weird.
lot of it that's
Yeah.
in St. Louis.
I'm like,
And
we've never had a movie theater that looked like that.
that's true.
I
Yeah.
went to
it
the
is-
movies in 1985.
I've been to like there was a moment where they're in the like
bar, dive bar.
Well, they're in the dive bar, but then they're also in a mall, and I was like, not bad.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty close.
Because the dive bar, I was like, okay, there are bars
You
in the
could the
city of
dive
St.
bar,
Louis
yeah.
that look
Absolutely.
like that.
I will-
That movie
The
theater,
movie theater, no.
there was no movie theater in
No.
St. Louis in 1985 that looked like that. We
Not at
still had like 4 screens theaters. Like,
I know.
yes.
There was no megaplexes in St. Louis.
That's the tough part with movies that take place, and I mean, because we don't get them very often. But
Yeah.
when you do, and it looks so ridiculous,
So we're so quick. to be
Roll
like,
them up.
They
And
got
it's like,
they got the license plates right.
I thought the same thing. I was like, oh dang, like the red and white plates. Like
Yeah.
nobody's gonna get that. But
they couldn't have Ice Cube Jr. wear a Cardinals jersey.
that's
That's just
gotta,
frustrating.
So
to
I
me.
think that must
gotta
be a rights
a
thing.
license,
Right.
Yeah, because it's clearly they want it to be
it's a red and white jersey.
evocative
Right.
of a.
But if you
Cardinals.
actually- if you-
it's even got a similar script in
does.
the way it goes on the diagonal.
it's like that's
yeah.
what he would be wearing.
Yeah.
If you look on like Wheaties boxes,
Mm-hmm.
they're not in.
Oh, when they do those, they
take-
can't wear the.
They Photoshop the logos off of like their jerseys. I think you could probably have their number and name on the back, but
Yeah,
you can't have like the
right.
team logo.
Okay.
But I did think the same thing. I was like, what? Come on, put on
Yeah.
a Cardinals jersey
I
from
know.
1980. Well, here's the problem. Those were powder blue in 1985. We didn't have white jerseys in 85.
Oh, really?
I don't think so. Those powder blue ones.
Thought we
What
still
was
had
the away
white.
one?
Yeah, because there's
Oh,
the
maybe
home
that's
and
right.
away.
Yeah.
I guess that's true. But they would have been.
Because they had white jerseys for old old
but they
Cardinals
wouldn't have
had
been.
white
But they wouldn't have
jerseys.
been button-ups. They would have been
Okay.
pullovers.
I mean,
this is deep. But
yeah, but you can see. Okay, you can see how much plot there is to talk about
Right,
Cocaine Bear. We've talked about every other.
were they white?
So a quick Google brings up a blue and a white, but they are pullover
Yes.
with the V-neck.
Yes, that's the Ozzie Smith jersey.
Yeah.
that everybody knows. So they're tasked by Ray Liotta to go.
Han Solo is his son,
Who is lost?
who doesn't want to be in.
But is like, what a weird subplot.
What is the?
So his wife has died, and he has gotten out of the business because his wife said, "I need you to get out, or I'm out." So he leaves the business. Then his wife dies, and Ray Liotta's like, "She was the thing that was stopping him. He'll come back now that she's dead." And he's just like, And of
But
course
what was this thing with John? And then at the end, I thought he's like, "Did that really?" Like,
so John, he got a tattoo.
This said it was supposed to be Joan,
And it said John, and they're like, just get it fixed. And I was like, also, you don't get a tattoo fixed in 1985. That's not a thing. You're just stuck with it.
Well, I guess you could tattoo. Oh, you can turn it into.
I guess
is
you
what
could
they
tattoo over it,
not
because
erase.
you're not
but
getting it
fix.
taken
but
off.
he says, I'll have to wait a
you
week
could-
for it to heal, and then he can.
Yeah, you could have the tattoo artist.
Try to fix it.
Yeah.
Right.
But then at the end, then O'Shea Jackson Jr. says something like, I thought he was like, was it really supposed to say John or something? Like, was the guy
I
that fell out
totally
of the
missed
plane's
that.
name John?
I don't know.
It just seemed like there was a subplot that was more than just, I got a fake. I don't
It
know.
certainly feel like there's a very different version of this movie somewhere, because I noticed lots of weird edits, like
Yeah.
to the point where it's like they would edit and they'd be standing completely differently than from the previous shot. Like
Yes.
there was just lots of choppy edits in this movie.
And I wonder, I like Elizabeth Banks a lot. I think she's very funny. I think she's very capable director, because she did Pitch Perfect.
Pitch Perfect.
3.
Directed
right?
3, yeah.
And are these the only two things she's directed?
She was in that Power Rangers movie.
Also by Blumhouse.
Oh, is that a Blumhouse
I think that's a
production?
Blumhouse.
Okay.
But I think so.
And
Boy.
that had this didn't have as much Krispy Kreme in it though. Is that remember? Didn't she like eat a Krispy Kreme donut? And
yes.
it was kind of like a
Maybe it
Transformers.
wasn't Blumhouse. I thought that was Blumhouse. Maybe
That
not.
sounds right.
But that's got the guy from Stranger Things.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Billy, the brother. Is the Red Power Ranger in that.
That's right. Before anyone knew who it was.
Yeah. So you've got that subplot going on. Now you've got Keri. In my head, I'm like Felicity.
You're Russell, because I always think Kurt Russell. But you know what I
okay,
mean?
yeah,
It's
right.
like your best friend Kurt Russell,
So
same
she
last name.
directed Pitch Perfect 2.
Oh,
two.
okay.
And Charlie's Angels and Cocaine Bear.
Charlie's
But
Angels,
she was a producer on the Pitch Perfect
Okay.
movies.
It's no Zach and Miri.
It's a good movie.
That's a good movie.
Man, that movie's great.
Should have just kept that original title. Back when you could, well, not back. You couldn't release a movie called Cocaine Bear, but now you can. When it's like that
What?
movie now,
Yeah, you could. Zach and Miri make a porno. Does not get a name change.
it'd be called Zack and Mary in 2023.
Yeah, you just. I guess that's true. What was that kid? The one with the little kids that were.
Good Boys.
Yeah, like that whole
It was like
trailer
super
was
bad with 12-year-olds.
Right.
Isn't it weird how like I don't know, things change, and then now we're in this era where like stuff gets canceled, but also you can do so much stuff and get like it's just so weird what you.
It is
can.
also those two jack-offs were in charge of the company, and they just had to have their portly little fingers in everything, the Weinsteins, and just screwed that whole thing up. Yeah, so now we've got the
Well, he's in
subplot.
jail for life now.
Yeah, bye.
Good riddance.
Adios. Wish your brother was there too. So you've got Keri Russell and her daughter, who just if you can't do an accent, don't do it. Like Keri Russell is trying
Like
to do
country
a
accent.
southern
Are they in
accent.
Georgia?
I think they're in Georgia. Yeah.
Tennessee?
Tennessee. Okay. They go through Georgia, I think, at one point, but maybe Tennessee is the main. It's Chattahoochee.
Chattahoochee.
Oh, that's an Alan Jackson song.
Way down yonder on the Chattahoochee.
That's right. That's right. The one Alan Jackson song that I know.
Oh, there's
Something-
more Alan Jackson songs you would know than that.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. To the Googles.
But yeah, so now like she's a single mom, and she's kind of entering this relationship with the pediatrician.
You don't know Living on Love?
No,
Knows living on a prayer.
I do know that one. Living on the Edge.
Little Bitty?
Nope.
It's
I mean,
5
I don't-
o'clock somewhere.
I mean, I
Well,
know
yeah,
that's a
you know.
phrase.
Well, that's his song.
Oh,
It's gotta be
I honestly,
5 o'clock
like
somewhere.
if you, I know absolutely about country music.
Midnight in Montgomery.
Nope.
These are big
You
songs.
do country
man.
shows.
I got
you
friends
know.
in
Yeah.
low places. That's him, right?
No, that's Garth
Oh,
Brooks.
right.
How about Chris Gaines
Oh man,
and Bruno?
the alter ego, Bruno. Call me Bruno. No, Bruce. I guess we can't. I feel bad. Shouldn't make fun of Bruce Willis at this point.
Well, you could talk about his music career.
That's
I mean,
fair.
that's a little pretty
Yeah.
far off.
You can't pin the return of Bruno on the dementia. Like,
We love you, Bruce. But what I do appreciate is that this girl, her daughter, she's just a preteen, so she's kind of got that preteen attitude, but she's not bad.
Yeah.
You know, like she's just a
I
precocious
like this.
kid.
This is like that movie Good Boys, though. I like it when
Yes.
the little kids are kind of like tiny
Getting
adults,
coked up.
and they're when they're
That's a
saying
great scene.
stuff that adults are obviously writing for them. But it's funny. It's just kind of
She's also
I
good.
just want to go on the record that Kevin is a fan of coked up 12-year-old
Coked up
girls.
12-year-olds. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a huge fan.
Yeah.
They feel the most real.
Yeah,
like these
I
two kids feel like two kids out of Stranger
I wish they
Things,
would have
honestly.
spent more time on them.
I agree.
Felt like that the boy was supposed to be Tanner from the Bad News Bears.
Brother,
yeah.
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you.
He was really funny. I liked those two characters. I liked him. I thought he got a lot of comedic parts. But yeah, I like go on more subplots of them because the guy's trying to get the coke back stuff. I mean,
I could do without that. To me, if I were to write this movie, those are your red shirts.
yeah.
Those are just the guys that you're just gonna be like, we're gonna stick with them for a little bit. I'm not gonna give them any backstory.
I don't need them to have a happy ending.
Yeah.
Like that's ridiculous.
They're
They're
drug
drug dealers.
dealers.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Why did you write
Your
them to
hap-
have a backstory?
Your happy ending is Keri Russell
Yeah.
and her daughter and
Yes.
the kid.
Right.
I want to
know?
get out of the business, and here I'm helping you. I'm like, why would the drug dealers get to escape and
Or
have like the cop
or
die
you
and-
have one drug dealer who's like that, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
then he ends up like his story arc is he ends up turning his back on all the other drug dealers to help the two kids at the end against the bear.
Sure.
Right.
Also works, but
Yeah.
I don't disagree. Is like they don't. All right. I mean,
And not to be like that guy that just but like
Well, anytime you say that, it definitely sets up for
but-
you'll not be like that guy.
but like when people complain about woke America, the fact that the bear lives
Right.
so honestly, this is what I thought was going to happen.
The bear dies and the kids take over. Cocaine bears.
That's exactly where
Exactly.
I thought
Why
when they
would-
showed the two cubs. I was
Yes.
like, okay,
There's two now out for revenge.
And they're mad.
That is
Yeah.
how you make a bad 80s animal movie.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
cocaine bears. This time it's personal.
That's
what
exactly
I'm saying.
it.
See,
Yes.
so that's what I mean. This movie sets up, and the premise is great, but they do things like that where you're like, well, this isn't a cheesy 80s movie.
Right.
Like, they don't go to those places that...
no, the mama bear needs to die, and then the two baby
Yeah.
bears are
And
like,
that's your sequel.
it. We're done. And yeah, this time it's personal.
Yeah.
Is that
And then they
4?
can be voiced. It was 4.
Yeah.
They can be Jaws the Revenge.
Yes.
They can be voiced by Bob and Doug McKenzie, and it'll be owned by Disney.
done.
There you go.
Fixed. Was that Brother
Like,
Bear?
Brother Bear,
Yeah.
but they were actually mooses. Moose Eye?
Moose.
Moose.
Meese?
Mises. Oh, Mises.
It's Meese.
Yeah, Mises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not Meese.
It's Meese.
No, it isn't. It's
you can
Moose.
take that to-
100% sure it's
Take
Meese.
that to
Really?
the
Look it
bank.
up. Look it up. Look it up. I gotta know.
Oh, look at that. It says Mies.
It says Meese.
So,
oh no, so sorry. It's the Moops.
So meanwhile, Margot Martindale plays a park ranger.
Trying to get,
If you
laid.
ever wanted to see a good part of her butt,
That's true.
here you go.
The bear does take a chunk. She's actually fantastic on Justified.
Yeah.
She's so good on that. Yeah. She's,
And BoJack Horseman.
oh, really?
Yeah.
I've never watched that.
Oh my God. It's so good.
Is it really?
It's so.
Is it done?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so good. And it's like not what you think. It's not. It's so much smarter
Yeah.
than you would ever think.
Okay.
It's actually
Okay.
like kind of deep and
Oh, no.
about existential dread. It's. But it's
That's the
have you
that's
not watched
Will,
it?
No,
that's,
I
that's
haven't
Will,
watched
my
it.
God.
That's Will Arnett, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Jesse from Breaking Bad is in it, right? Is that the one that?
Yeah, he's in it, and
Yeah, Aaron Paul.
Oh, okay.
oh dang it, from
It's got
Community.
Paul F. Tompkins is
Yeah.
he a dog? Mr.
Yeah.
Butter something. I don't.
Yeah.
I know of some
It's
of
on
the
Netflix,
stuff, but
yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's great.
Check that out.
Butterscotch or something. I can't remember.
Butters.
It's different, yeah, different animation.
that character.
But anyway, so she's running. She's the park ranger of said park that the cocaine bear is loose in, and there's 3 teenagers that are just ridiculous. Like they're in a
They are in a
goofy
different
80
movie. Yes.
And they try to attack Ice Cube Jr. and Han Solo in a bathroom, and there's this ridiculous fight scene.
It's so good. The best part of that whole scene is when he's like trying to move around. He's like, what? And he just turns around. He's
There's
got
a
that knife in his back.
But like that scene felt like it belonged in what I thought this movie
That
was going to
scene,
be, right?
the ambulance scene,
Yeah.
the scene where the kid, like they're trying to, the kids has climbed up the tree, like all of that. I do agree with you. Like that stuff feels like it's in a.
I think maybe Elizabeth Banks is too good of a director. Like she couldn't let herself make a bad or cheesy movie.
Yeah.
Like she kept putting in these serious plots where it seemed, and it just felt too good, right?
Yeah.
And so when it went wacky like that, that's what people I think are expecting. And I don't think the kills quite got there. Again, there's a couple, but outside of that, a lot of stuff was like off camera and you see some blood. It's like, no, just rip the intestines, rip the heads off. You know, do the
that's-
crazy kills.
Right. I think that if you could have taken this and just ramped up the Friday the 13th
Yeah.
aspect of it, I think this is
Like in the beginning, like in the opening. And I know in the openings you don't always get crazy kills, but like the bear drags the female hiker off and then like a leg gets thrown, and it's just like, well, that's...
I kind of I agree. Is like I wanted to see like entrails and like as throwing up and
You get that eventually.
You do
Yeah.
get that eventually, yeah. And that's the thing. I don't even mind. I wouldn't mind it as much as if they built to that, right? Like where if they start with the leg and then
Right.
the next one's a little ramped
Each
up.
one gets a little,
Yeah.
but it
Correct.
wasn't like that either.
Was
kind of
not.
bounced around where it would
Yeah.
just be like, okay, there's one that's decent, and then it would do some,
Yeah. And
when Margot Martindale shoots the guy, that was maybe one of the most like surprising and crazy
was
like dark
pretty-
comedy moments. Where
yes,
I'm like, okay,
put a giant bullet hole in this guy's head. And I will say it was a pretty good audience for an afternoon
Yeah.
on a Saturday. And there was a couple in front of me and like they were losing their mind every time like something, like that would happen. Like when the guy gets shot, this dude like came out of his seat. He was like, whoa, like freaking out. I was like, all right, man, like I love it. Enjoy it.
cocaine audience.
Cocaine audience, yeah. So she's trying to put her swerve down on the guy from Modern Family.
Yeah. Jesse Tyler Ferguson.
Thank you. And he's like having
He looked kind of unrecognizable, maybe because he doesn't have the goatee or whatever.
Well, he's got
but
the long hair.
he
Well,
just
because he's a redhead, so he's got this long blonde wig on,
Yeah.
and
man,
but he
mustache.
looked like
I think he's put on a little bit of weight.
Yeah, and maybe is a little bit heavier, but I couldn't when he first came on screen. I'm like, who is that?
As soon as he started talking, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, yeah.
I was doing the same thing at first. I was
Yeah.
like, where do I know that? And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
But it
got
does seem like he is kind of attracted to Keri Russell, which don't blame him. Like the character, obviously, not the actor.
yeah, because he is really gay in real life.
Yes.
Yes.
The other guy isn't.
The other guy is not.
The other guy, what is he? He's going to be in a TV show. Dang, I can't remember. He just joined
I got to tell you, Modern Family.
Eric Stone Street. He just, I can't remember, but it was just announced he was joining a second or
Like
third
an
season
ongoing?
of some.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'll have to look
But
it up.
if you've never watched Modern Family,
Oh, that's a great show.
it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
I didn't
Yeah.
finish like the last 2 seasons. I kind of just, for whatever reason, just
Yeah.
fell off and
It's
forgot
so
to finish.
it's so
but-
good. It's so good. So what happens is the Keri Russell's daughter decides to cut school because she wants to go paint this waterfall, and the Keri Russell said they would do it, and they aren't going to do it. They're going to go on this trip with this pediatrician.
I was really confused because then the mom finds the backpack of all the art supplies, but she has all the art supplies with her. I was very confused.
I
by
thought
that.
there was maybe more in the
Yeah,
other
she
kid's
must have
backpack.
grabbed a bunch out of there 'cause she was dropping them along the way. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really. And then like the whole thing with the pediatrician that never comes
Turned
back
into
into play.
anything.
Nope.
Yeah.
Right? Because she did skip school, so I guess they would have left after school. But then like they never check.
I mean,
in
they
with him
even
or-
cast an actor to play.
There is
the
this-
guy.
there's a guy,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's
right,
got to
right.
be. They must have cut him
Yeah.
because it just the whole plot line drops.
I do wonder if Megan has been released with like a rated R cut, which is what we said was going
Unrated,
to
yeah.
what we said was going to happen. And I wonder if there is an unrated. But it's like if you're gonna
Why?
go, but yeah, because
Yeah.
Megan was PG-13, so like I can
Right,
understand
right.
doing an unrated cut. But if you're gonna go with the hard R, we talked about it with Magic Mike. Where if you're
Yeah.
gonna do the hard R, do
Then
it.
own it.
I wonder maybe Elizabeth Banks did want to have a bunch of goofy slapstick craziness, and they made her like up the ante a little bit or something,
Quote, unquote,
like because they
smarten it
didn't
up.
get it. Like maybe the studio execs didn't understand the B level of it, and
Lord and Miller just can't catch a break
You know
with
what I'm
studio
saying?
execs. We're like,
Yeah.
can we just let us make our movie?
like not them. Like maybe they probably would have wanted.
Oh,
a
no, that's
crazy
what I'm
movie,
saying,
right?
yeah.
But whoever produced it, maybe they're like, well, we are putting a few $1 million into this. Like,
What was out of curiosity? What was the budget on this?
I heard it's supposed to make like I think 12 or 15
But it's in
opening.
that it's in that Paul Blart. Well, it's in that time slot, right? Where Paul Blart came out.
I think that was January. 30
Was
to
it?
$35 million was the
Oh
budget on
man,
this movie.
okay, that's a little high. I mean, it doesn't look bad. right?
But that's
just
what
feel
I mean. It looks decent.
It's
Yeah.
gonna make that back just in VOD.
That's
easy.
true. That's fair. But like Paul Blart, right, came out in January. It was back then was a dead zone, and just made a boatload of money, which somehow not somehow, but gave us a sequel.
But this is on track to compete with Ant-Man in week 2.
that's
pretty crazy.
But it is also it's movie releases are just so weird now because now you're gonna get hit with big stuff. There's big stuff coming out in the next.
I know,
yeah.
but Ant-Man
3
week
weeks.
2.
I agree with you.
That's bonkers.
But I
But
think
also,
it's
if-
front loaded.
And it's not being super well received,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
Like if this was, the last Spider-Man movie in week 2, this movie would be decimated.
Oh, for
right?
sure. For sure.
I mean, they got lucky. Cocaine Bear got lucky that Ant-Man isn't doing gangbusters because
it's crazy to say it's not doing gangbusters, but it's still doing really well.
but in week 2 it got an $8.3 million Friday, and Cocaine Bear got an $8.6 million Friday. This is a Marvel movie, like
Totally.
not gangbusters for a Marvel in week 2. Like
Right.
people that didn't get to see it last week should be coming out, and it's like no, everyone saw it on week 1.
Right.
You know?
But yeah, so I think we've got Scream is out. Is it?
That's March 10th.
and
So
then
there's
Creed 3.
Yeah,
I think
next
next week
week.
is Creed 3,
Right.
and then Scream, and then I think then
5 Creed.
and then John Wick 4.
Yeah, see, that's
and then D&D,
okay.
and then
So it's like nonstop
I mean, and it's nonstop sequels and
Yeah.
pre-existing IPs
going
Like,
into the summer.
Yeah.
and that's just the way it is. But
yeah, because there's another big one after D&D.
is it a Marvel movie?
I don't think we're at Guardians yet.
No,
No,
Guardians
that's
is
the
July
summer.
or June.
Yeah, and I looked it up. So Loki 2 is coming up as well, but it's just Guardians and the Marvels this year. Is the rest of the
But then
Shazam.
Shazam for that's right. For
So
DC.
I got the order wrong. It goes Creed 3, Scream 4, and then Shazam, then John Wick, then D&D.
D&D is kind of the only one that's like an original.
Well, but
original-esque.
But D&D,
Right.
like, you know.
But it's not. Is it based off of something? Or are they just using the concept of D&D?
Yeah, I wonder if they're basing it on any type of campaign that people would know if they
There's
played
definitely
it, or if
like
it's just...
there's been cartoons, and I think
There was a
was
movie.
a live action movie before.
Yeah.
Well, there's tons of podcasts and stuff.
Oh, is
now.
there really?
Yeah, like the Dan Harmon's does
really?
one of the shows that's really
interesting.
big, and then the guys from My Brother and Me do their own the
Are they
Adventure
running?
Zone.
Are they running campaigns?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
it's just audio of
They do
them
voice
playing
acting.
D&D.
Yeah, it's
dang.
the Adventure Zone is the My Brother and Me guys. Dan Harmon's I can't remember, but it's huge, right? And so there's tons of stuff being based on D&D. But as far as a movie property, I don't think they've ever made an
No, they
official D&D movie.
Yeah,
they have.
yeah, they did.
Yeah, they have.
Did they?
Yeah,
Was
I had the.
wasn't it like Marlon Wayans or something?
I think it was
in
Marlon Wayans and the guy that played Jimmy Olsen on on Superman.
Was that
Lois
really a
and
Dungeons
Clark.
and Dragons movie? Okay, I guess I was.
Yeah, 2000.
Okay, because that sounds familiar, but for some reason I didn't.
Jeremy
think that,
Irons, Marlon Wayans, Justin Whalen.
That's it. He also
Okay.
played the lead character in Child's
Thora
Play 3.
Birch.
Hey,
Remember
now.
when she
and
was
it's
in
called
that?
Dungeons and Dragons.
It's called
Yeah.
Dungeons
Okay.
and
Yeah,
Dragons.
yeah.
So we'll see Chris Pine.
It even uses the ampersand.
Oh, does it really?
Yes.
Yeah, Chris Pine, who we haven't seen in a while, ever since what's his name spit on him.
believe
Since
it in
last year.
The campaign.
we saw
Don't
him
worry,
in-
darling. Oh man, I forgot about that. When what's his name spit on him?
Oh yeah, Harry Styles.
But have you seen the trailer for D&D?
I did.
It totally wants to be Guardians of the Galaxy.
Without question.
Yes.
Yeah, he is. It's funny though. Like the second Chris, where I'm like, yeah, you're not a bad Star Lord.
Yeah,
Pretty
I
good.
Yeah.
I think at this point I'll be ready for.
I
Chris
am.
Pine.
I am ready for the other Chris to go away for a little bit.
It's that oversaturation thing, because I've always really liked. I mean, since Parks and Rec, I've always
Yeah.
really liked.
Here's the thing that I have found with him
Yes.
is he nails in that first Guardians. He nails that character.
Yeah.
And I feel like as things have changed for him in his life and maybe politically, he has tried really hard to do these different not Star-Lord roles, which
Yeah.
is fine.
Yeah.
I understand not wanting to be Star-Lord for the rest of your
He
career.
instantly was like, I can't be Star-Lord. I mean, even in the Jurassic Park movie,
Yeah.
he's not being...
I think in that first one he is.
I don't think he is. I think it...
He was a pretty cool guy when they pull up to him and he's like fixing a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like he's a pretty cool guy in that.
but then
Yeah.
he did that
He's in that show where he's a Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
I know. I just wish he would do. He was so good on Parks and Rec. He was so good as Star-Lord. I mean, I get not wanting to be typecast, but it's like, dang, he really found his, like, that was where he shined.
But that's
'Cause he's funny. He's a funny guy.
funny.
But to me, Chris Pine is also that character, but for whatever reason can like flow back and can make that work a little bit
He
better.
can't catch a break either because like
No,
he
I
gets Star
know.
Trek and those movies do nothing and go away, you know?
And
like
that first one's
Well, it
great.
was weird because it wasn't they did nothing. They just
Yeah.
didn't do what they wanted.
Right.
them
They
to.
did
Like,
what a Star Trek movie does.
Yeah.
Star Trek is kind of capped at what it's going
Right.
to do, and they thought that they could level it up, and it didn't. But those were fun movies.
I like those
that
movies.
first one's great.
I want the one with Hemsworth and the time traveling, and I wish they would have let Quentin Tarantino do this.
That would
movie.
have been insane.
He wanted to do it.
I mean,
but-
that's crazy.
I mean, if you want to get money, if you want those Star Trek movies to make money, you put Tarantino's name on a Star Trek movie. That right there, that's like making a movie called Cocaine Bear, right? Like people's morbid curiosity is like, wait a minute.
I gotta
But
know.
the problem is, what do you do when you're done? Right?
Yeah.
With that movie.
Right, who's going to
It's-
carry on?
It's the same reason. As much as I would love Strays to be a bingy movie, it's the
Right.
reason it's
Yeah.
not a bingy movie. Is what do you do when
Right.
you're done? Because
What's-
now you've got. It's the reason they made James Gunn re-edit the Scooby Doo movie,
Yeah.
right? Like
Is there there an edit out there? There has to be.
No.
You don't think
No.
there's an edit? You don't
There's
think he
not.
has an edit of
Well,
the original edit?
Okay, maybe he has one, but they've never released like an unrated.
Yeah,
or they
yeah,
don't-
and it's
right,
never
no.
leaked. But
Yeah.
but they they were gonna do that, and then they were just like, but what do we do with Scooby Doo after this, right?
Make Velma.
And so they
Yeah.
they pulled their punches.
And
And if you watch that movie, you can tell
you can see
Right.
it
that there's a very different version of that movie out there. Somewhere.
very much so.
So the bear does cocaine, kills
Kills
some
a bunch of people,
Kills a bunch of people,
and then he gets away at the end.
Yeah, Ray Liotta shows up, shoots the cop in the gut. Let's see. The bear falls asleep on Han Solo, which I thought was a funny little bit.
I also feel there was a very different storyline with Chekhov's little cute doggy. Because I called the beginning of the movie, I'm like, that dog is going to fight the bear, scare the bear away or something. They spent so much time on this little dog that Isaiah Whitlock Jr. gets.
And then the cop who we think is like his partner, who turns out to be working with Ray Liotta, brings the dog to the
Then
woods.
she brings it, and I turned to Ryan. I brought Ryan to this, and I was like, the dog, see? Because I called in the very beginning. I'm like, that dog's going to come into play. And they never do anything with
This
the
is why
dog.
kids think their parents are dumb,
I
Yeah,
know.
see?
Yeah, look at this moron.
Yeah.
The dog.
and he wants me
Duh.
to stay off drugs.
Yeah. Gah. Look at how much fun those kids had. I will say, there is a great scene where these kids are doing cocaine, and just their reaction where he's
Who's
like,
the one that likes it now?
She goes, I like where the kid's like, I don't know, like a tablespoon? And I was like, oh, man. And she just
When
like,
they go and put it all in their mouth.
and she freaks out, and I do like when the kid, the boy does it, and she's just like, why are you making that noise? And he's like, trying to, there are bits, I do agree. where
Where's the
it's-
scene of them being high, though, right? Like, they give him the cocaine, and then the aftermath is the kid being like, yeah, don't tell anyone we did cocaine. But it's like, come on, where's the scene of them?
I
Being
I
goofy,
feel
you know?
like when that kid first runs into the mom, he's talking a mile a minute.
He is going.
Like I feel
and he's
like
eating. He's constantly eating,
I
too.
feel like there's a version where that's more explicit, and they were like, "You can't have the kids doing the cocaine."
Yeah, there's gotta be because, but I mean, like, look at the movie you're making.
I will say, though, I thought they were going to cut that off before those kids put the cocaine
Yeah.
in their mouth.
That's
Now,
what they
but
show
do.
it. So
they
it's
do
like,
spit out
That's true.
instantly,
Almost
like,
all of it.
because I just chalked it up to like, okay, so they didn't actually consume any cocaine,
Sure.
like
And
'cause
once it's in there.
but that's gotta be even if you. I mean, if you get a little bit, and then he like breathes it in. There's something with the dust goes. I remember when he breathes it.
No, the
feel
bear
like
the
breathes.
bear breathes it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's which is another.
I just felt like there was a cloud of smoke around the kid, the boy, whatever his name, Henry or whatever his name was. But anyway, I just feel like they would have some kind of effect, and I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, if it's in your mouth,
But you got to think that if it's okay, so let's think of it like sugar,
and
right?
you instantly spit it out,
But it's gonna dissolve.
It absorbs. You've got to absorb some, and especially under your tongue.
but just
right?
how much? I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know how much cocaine you need to have been.
Listeners,
This
if
is
you've-
pure though. It's not cut.
If you've
been
done
coke-
cocaine,
how much do
League
you
of Show
need
Shares.
to be cocainefied?
But this is uncut from because they're smuggling the drugs. Like it hasn't been cut yet. So this stuff is pure.
pure,
People when they do cocaine, it's like cut with something.
yeah, like bad stuff.
So this is like
I will say, I know I have talked about the Draft House a lot, but at the beginning of this, they have found all of the old TV ads of celebrities talking about how bad cocaine is, and that's what they were playing in front
most
of
of
this.
them were doing it as
Absolutely.
some sort of punishment.
Oh, yeah, right.
It was
Court ordered.
Clint Eastwood did one, and there was a guy that I didn't recognize. But there are people. Obviously, they played like "This Is Your Brain on Drugs,"
Right. Yeah.
But it is hilarious to look at these cocaine ads. Nancy Reagan, of course, was front and center in a lot of those.
Just Say No. That was
her jam. Yeah. But yeah, I was like, oh man, these are hilarious. If you can find them, I'm sure they're on YouTube. They're like 80s, what do you call them?
PSAs.
PSAs of celebrities saying don't do crack cocaine, which is hilarious.
Did you guys notice who the ambulance driver, the guy was?
I did.
The guy from TikTok.
He's the
Seiss?
he's the IKEA guy.
He's the guy. Have you ever seen that guy, the ambulance
I don't
driver?
have TikTok.
This guy does stuff about retail. Like customers ask these dumb questions, and then he like zooms in real close, and he's like, "Here, let me tell you about."
I'm never going to come back here again. Oh, really?
Yeah.
You think I care that
yeah.
you're never coming back here again?
Oh, can you check in the back? What do you think? The back is some kind of magical place where, blah, blah, he's really funny. And so now I thought this was brilliant, right? Because I was talking to Ryan about this before the movie, and I'm like, so kids today, their celebrities are influencers,
Right?
Yeah.
I go to Ryan. I go, you wouldn't care if Anthony Hopkins is in this movie, but if this guy from TikTok's in it, you're excited.
Anthony Hopkins showed up in this movie as the
Right.
bear.
But you know what I mean? Like, I think that's actually brilliant that they're starting to get influencers and then bringing them to movies.
At least they're bringing in ones I have found that I'm like, okay.
Oh
like,
yeah, I mean,
that
this guy's funny. Yeah,
Like I
thought he was good. I mean, for the role and
Well,
for this,
and it's like, if you think about it, it's like, what would it cost you to have that guy post
Right.
on TikTok about the movie?
Yes.
Yep.
Well, now of course
now he's
he's
doing
going to post about
promos for it.
Yeah,
and he did.
For
He's
sure.
like, it's like, that's funny. So on his thing, it's like things you need to know before going to see Cocaine Bear, and he zooms in and he goes, nothing, absolutely nothing. If you know the words cocaine and you know the words bear, you're good to go. And
I
it's-
did see that somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see, that's him. That's
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
But that's I think that was. But that we did
But
talk
I
about.
liked how he was making fun of comic book movie where he's like, you don't need to read the last
That's-
panel of
yes.
issue 17 from
And it's-
1978.
And he goes,
Yeah.
this is going to be conservatively at least 3 million times better than Citizen Kane. He's a funny guy. He makes really funny videos. So
Yeah.
yeah, now that guy is giving you like tens of thousands of dollars of TikTok ads, right? And to his millions and millions
yeah.
of followers. So I think that's going to be the future. Like, and as much as movie snobs don't want to hear it, we were talking about
Well,
celebrities.
We've seen it in other movies. Them using YouTubers. And
Oh,
stuff.
sure.
Sure, yeah. Well, but a lot of times as cameos. But I'm saying as actors, like as roles, they're going to start casting people in actual roles, not
Well, I
just
think
cameos.
also it's interesting that TikTok, much like any other social media platform, has given somebody.
MySpace?
Oh yeah, MySpace. That gave Tom, maybe. not our Tom, like Tom from MySpace.
That's where Dane Cook got traction. Was MySpace.
Oh man,
Was it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, big time. When Retaliation came out, that blew up on there. But like, you have people who are very talented, whether it's video editors or stand-up comedians who maybe wouldn't get traction in Hollywood normally. And I mean, like, look at the Burt Kreischer thing. The fact that guy
is doing a movie with Mark Hamill.
well, but like
Lonely Island.
yeah. Oh, Lonely Island's
they were
a
the
great
first,
example.
yeah.
But like that guy was a successful stand-up comedian, and he tell that story, the Russian story, blows up, and now there's a movie about it.
It's
like
great.
that. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, I'm excited to see a movie with that where Mark Hamill plays his dad.
Plays his dad. Yeah,
It's gonna be funny. But yeah, Bo Burnham,
all those guys.
all
yeah,
those
they're
YouTubers that turned into
big stars,
yeah.
and I think that's interesting on TikTok at least, where it's like, okay, like
Why
maybe
can't I get a movie deal for my Insane Clown Posse story?
I mean,
right?
you should, because it's a great story.
it is a great story.
It is a great story. But yeah, like I do think it's interesting that you'll find talent that maybe you wouldn't have found otherwise.
But I think it's brilliant that when I saw he was going to be in the movie, I'm like, that is genius because again, built-in marketing, and it's just people are like, oh, I know that guy,
and he had the best scene of the movie.
he's hilarious. I thought he was genuinely really funny.
The whole thing, I think that whole setup where the ambulance shows up and they think they're responding to a guy with a concussion.
Oh, he said he had a concussion. The guy's got half his head blown
Yeah,
off.
half his face is
Yeah.
blown off. Yeah.
Margot Martindale is like, they open the door and there's a bear staying there. And she's like, I'm going to shoot it. And she's like, she's like been attacked or whatever. And she's kind of out of it. And then she just shoots the guy and the side of his head blows off.
Blows his brains.
And then
all
so
over
they
the
come
place.
and they can't open the door and they're running into the guy on the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's a great chase scene where they get Margot Martindale onto a stretcher and they're trying to get out of there in this ambulance.
I thought she was going to fall out the back. They left that gag wide
did
open.
fall out the back.
No, but like roll out the back.
Oh.
Because they left the door open
Yeah.
and she's in the stretcher. I'm like, they wouldn't have locked her down. And then I was
Right.
just waiting for it. You know?
But so yeah, she takes a header.
Oh, that kill.
and like
Yeah.
she's
my-
face down.
My
into
wife
the-
did not like that part.
That's fair.
That made me.
You know
that
what?
was,
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we talked about it on the show. My wife was hit by a car while jogging.
Oh,
correct.
So, like, she had a similar injury.
Got a little PTSD.
Yeah,
from,
so she was just like, ugh.
no, thank you.
but that made me squirm. That's the one in the movie because her face is getting road rash.
Road rash,
I mean,
yeah.
she's dragging out the back. Ugh.
It was pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
It
At the end of the movie, they're like, don't look at that. The mom and the kids are walking.
That's another
and
great
cops
line.
are pulling up and they're walking past him. And they're like, you don't want to look at
Yeah,
that.
don't look at that. Don't look at that. But yeah, so then the ambulance driver ends up hitting a tree, and she goes through. You know, this kind of reminded me of is like Zombieland.
Yeah.
There were moments of like here that kind of reminded me of that opening sequence in Zombieland.
Yeah.
Basically, the daughter ends up in the bear cave. Keri Russell and the kid end up going.
How did the bear took her prisoner back to the like what?
I don't know.
Please
How
explain that.
How did everybody know where they were at in the middle of a national
big
forest?
park? Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
That
the
is
drug
fair.
dealer shows up, the cop shows up.
I do like that the girl's like, no, I know how to get to the falls, and I was like, from your house through the woods,
Yeah.
like you know the path to get to the falls without a map.
I would have liked a little bit of an explanation, like they took the girl because the mom thought it was a cub with the other cubs that she had. You know, something like
Something, yeah.
why is the girl trapped in the cave?
Right.
Like there was no mention of it, no anything.
None.
But yeah, they all meet up there.
Yeah. You know what? It was the cocaine raining, like the cloud of cocaine is, which I think is a kind of funny of a trope where you think the bear is done for, and then the bear gets
was-
like a
Yeah.
shower of cocaine and brings the bear back
That was
to
a
life.
funny '80s. That's what it should be crazy like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bear's dead and then smells the cocaine
and it comes back and then
gets a really good kill with
on
Ray,
Ray Liotta,
Liotta.
like
Yeah.
cuts his guts open.
And that's the in the dark, so they can kind of
Right.
get away with more.
But again, from what I understood is that Ray Liotta was going to have a much bigger part, and they had to like work
Scale it
around,
back.
scale it
Yeah.
back, and work
Yeah.
around it. But yeah, and then everybody gets away, and again, like
Except for Ray Liotta.
Except for Ray Liotta, the two drug dealers. The one guy's like, "I'm going to go get my son," which is another plot point where Han Solo is who we're talking about. He's so distraught over losing his wife that he has neglected his son, and now he's had this change of heart where he's like, "I'm going to go get him."
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is very strange, but all right, I'm just gonna whatever. But then the scene where Keri Russell has both kids like, and they're riding a bike, and the kid's like, "How much does it cost to go to rehab?" And, like just talking, and like that, again, those two kids I thought were very funny, and Keri Russell plays pretty well off of them. And then the final scene of the movie is hikers again in the woods, and they're watching the bear, the mama bear, and the cubs, and then of course they all look at them, and they're like, "What's happening?" And then they attack. But I do agree is that mama bear should have died, and cocaine bears, this time it's personal, should have happened with
Yeah.
two grown up bears and who grew up addicted to cocaine. And now,
Yeah, that's all I know.
yeah, no, I think this was fun. Like
Crack baby bears.
Oh man, they can't call it that.
It is the 80s.
That's fair. It's not when the movie came out,
Yeah.
but
It is weird that you could make a movie called Cocaine Bear. When I was ordering my tickets, it just feels weird. I said, I need a ticket to Cocaine Bear at 3 p.m. Like, isn't that weird that we live in a time where you can just go order that?
that's what we're talking about. Zach and me, like when they were like, you can't put the word
Right.
porno in a title.
That's-
What's wrong with
exactly. It's like I just think it's weird. I guess I never ordered a ticket to Cocaine Cowboy, but it's just weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just-
No. That's why I order it online, so I don't have to look
you? I had to
anybody
look-
in the
yeah,
eye.
Yeah. Can you just give me my ticket, please? Yeah. This is if you like those. Grizzly, Crocodile, Lake Placid, which is what I thought this was going to be. I thought this was going to be more
but
kind of
like,
like Lake
wouldn't
Placid.
Anaconda is a better.
Anaconda's
version
a
of
good one.
this.
I would agree with that.
Some of them really. I haven't seen it in a while, but I thought Snakes on a Plane was better than this. I don't know why. It seemed. I don't know.
It doesn't look
It
better.
seemed bigger to me.
This looks better than Snakes
Doesn't
on a
have to
Plane.
look good though. That's the thing. Like I don't
but
want
those-
these type of movies to look good. I
The
just
snakes look so fake.
yeah.
They're just like it's the old like they're lighter than the rest of the thing
Yeah.
because the CGI.
The
is.
bear's pretty good in this. I mean, I guess I'm getting to the point where it's like you just everything is CG now,
Yeah.
right? They're not going to make practical effects.
I don't think you're going to
So-
see real animals in.
And you don't
You'll
need
see
real
dogs
animals,
and
but-
cats, and that's probably
Yeah.
about it.
That's fair.
But I mean-
Horses.
I wonder. Yeah, that horse that Indiana Jones. Sorry, spoilers. Indiana Jones rides a horse in the next movie.
But prosthetic, like animatronics, right?
Which is-
Like you're just not going to
yeah.
see that anymore. So it's like I guess you've kind of, I hate to say it, but I've kind of consigned to the fact where like, yeah, the CG bear is pretty good as far as CG bears go, but
Especially for a $30 million movie.
yeah, it's got to be a lot of the budget,
You would think.
you know.
Yeah, and your
And
main
the cocaine.
of
Right.
course, yeah,
Yeah,
that's where it all goes.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the movie set in the 80s, but you're not getting 80s prices on the
No.
cocaine.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
they had to go to the dark web or whatever that.
buy-
What was that street? What the Silk Road?
What?
Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
They're like
We're not as up on cocaine.
Yeah,
as you are,
drug
Kevin.
culture sounds.
That's
more,
like the dark web to where like people were buying all this stuff that like you didn't need a prescription, so they would go and buy all these from China and from overseas. They would actually mail you drugs, and I think they've done a documentary on it. And
Okay.
there's like a whole
It's like
series on it.
Silkwood is a Ving Rhames movie.
Yeah, no,
Silkwood? No.
Isn't that what it is?
No, Silkwood starred Cher and Meryl Streep. And again, Joe, I'm going to call Joe out.
which wrestler?
Kurt Russell.
Oh,
In
and Kurt
Silkwood?
Russell.
It's based on a true story. She works at a nuclear power plant, and there's radiation leaking, and she
Oh,
gets
dang.
cancer.
What's
And
the-
then they think to this day they don't know, but they think that like the people that ran the plant had her killed.
Oh,
because
really?
She was ratting them out. And oddly enough, this movie has never been released on DVD or streaming. So.
red
It's a VHS only.
So I mean, it's not available really anywhere, and it was a huge movie. I mean, I think Cher won an. If I don't know if she won the Oscar, she got nominated.
Didn't she win
an
for
Oscar.
Moonstruck?
Yeah.
She won for Moonstruck. Maybe that's what it was, but she was nominated. But it was a big movie at the time.
Oh.
A big movie. That's where you get the phrase "Silkwood shower" from, right? Because
What is that?
What is that?
You've never heard the phrase
No.
"Silkwood
No.
shower"? Because when she's leaving the thing, and they say that she's been exposed to radiation, and they make her take like an industrial grade shower.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
This is gonna drive me crazy.
but what is I know the movie you're talking about.
We need a Kurt Russell Patreon series.
Brother,
Let's start at like the computer wore tennis shoes and go from like when he's a
you
kid.
think I won't do that?
Let's do it.
You're out of your mind. I'll absolutely. I'll do it double time. I'll do every movie twice.
Okay.
So that's twice Joe gets called out on this episode.
Rosewood.
Rosewood.
That's what
Okay.
I was thinking
Yeah.
of.
Rosebud.
Yeah, that's very different. But yeah, it's this is gonna get swallowed up in the next.
Yeah,
month.
this
is
I
gonna
mean,
go away.
I think it's a really good
Yeah,
opening, but
just real quick, Silkwood nominated for an Oscar for Meryl Streep for Best Actress, which I mean, of course, because that's
Well,
the
she's
law.
Because Meryl
Yeah,
Streep was in a
that's-
movie.
And then Best Supporting Actress for Cher, Best Director Mike Nichols, Best Writing for Screenplay, and then Best Film Editing. Silkwood was written or co-written by Nora Ephron. I did not realize.
Wow.
Oh, interesting.
So and it's directed by Mike Nichols.
Mike Nichols,
Like, this is
yeah.
a big movie.
Yeah,
This
for
is a
sure.
big movie that was a big hit and
never heard of it.
and like it is unseeable.
I think the government's put it under wraps.
To the
They've
modern
hit it.
art.
I'm
almost,
sure
yeah.
there is plenty of places you could find this movie.
Well, next they'll be making train movies about train derailments and
Oh God. Yeah, it's called Unstoppable. Taking a felon
taking-
1, 2, 3.
yeah.
It's
It's fine. It
This is
could-
gonna find a second life on VOD,
Right.
And it's gonna get
Streaming somewhere.
swallowed up in the next 3
Yeah.
weeks with these massive tentpole movies.
I think for it making 12 to 15 million opening weekend is really good.
That's a big
for
win,
it.
I think.
You know, and-
Especially like you said, coming up against Ant-Man in week 2.
yeah, that's surprising. Which
Yeah.
says more about Ant-Man than this
Correct.
movie, but
it
Correct.
does.
Yeah, I agree.
Would you like me to call it Joe one final time?
yeah.
I mean,
let's do it.
I would love to.
Another disappointment. You just a disappointment to us.
Brother,
On
He's-
all fronts this week.
I am used to it by now.
The song Jane. You didn't even address the fact
About what?
about what the song Jane is used for.
What is it used for?
When do they use? Oh, why?
It's the walk-in music
Oh, for Orange Cassidy.
for Orange Cassidy
It is.
and
Oh my
AEW.
gosh.
Absolutely it
How
is.
do you know this?
Because I watch AEW. So he has had more than one, and he's using that one now. But he had something. He had another one before that. But as soon as I did hear it, I was like, "Go get him, Orange." That guy is great. Orange Cassidy has one of the best gimmicks in professional wrestling right now.
All right.
It is very funny. But yes, this is his,
So-
Jane is his theme song currently.
So if you want to express your disappointment with Joe, swing on by Facebook.com/.
I think our numbers do that enough.
Join the League of Show Sharers so you can chastise Joe.
Yeah,
His dad's going to be commenting a lot in the group.
yeah, I know.
dropping the
Thanks.
ball
And
on-
my dad and my daughter are both going to be like, on,
YouTube.
So anyway, I guess that's it for this one. Let's go around the table and everyone can say where to find them.
This is Joe. You can follow me on the Twitter at JoeyButts, BUTTS21.
This is Kevin. Follow me on Twitter at KevinRBrackett.
And this is Tom. You can follow me on Twitter at Roger Kubert or on Facebook at Facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online, Facebook.com/Real Spoilers. While you're there, like the page, join the group. And of course, don't forget our Patreon. If you haven't been disappointed by Joe enough, you can now be disappointed and spend money on it at $5 a
thanks.
month. Yeah. So anyway,
Matt F. Bosler, too.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Lots of Mad F. Baslon.
yes, always a disappointment. So so that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, Millicent's father is dead.
Get ready for a spoiler. Won't say it twice, 'cause we always